On today's episode of the franchise, April 20th, we have the NBA recap of last night's playoff games: Lakers, Grizzlies, Heat, Bucks, and Timberwolves, Nuggets. The Oakland A's seem to be moving to Las Vegas officially, as well as Fernando Tatis returning, Max Scherzer getting busted for illegal substances, and Tua contemplating his retirement from the NFL in the offseason. Before we get into today's episode, as always, franchise available YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. You can find the TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram in the link or in the description of every single episode. Let's start with the NBA games from Wednesday night. First one, Lakers at the Memphis Grizzlies. Lakers are up 1-0 in this series. Grizzlies without Ja Morant. Looking like the Lakers are going to end up going up 2-0 in this series and winning this game. But the Grizzlies had other plans. They get a 10-point win here, 103-93 in favor of the Grizzlies. LeBron, 28 points and 12 rebounds. Hachimura had another great game off the bench, 20 points and 5 boards. Anthony Davis had a very disappointing game, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 blocks, but he was 4 for 14 from the field. D'Angelo Russell, once again, did absolutely nothing in his starter minutes, only 5 points, 2 for 11 shooting from the field. The Lakers were 7 for 26 from three-point range in this game. For Memphis, without Ja Morant, you were going to wonder where the offensive scoring was going to come from because Ja Morant is the primary scorer for this team. Is Jaren Jackson Jr. going to be that guy? Is Desmond Bane going to put up some points? What about Dylan Brooks? How about Xavier Tillman? 22 points, 13 rebounds, 10 for 13 shooting from the field in this game. Absolute breakout performance there from Xavier Tillman. Probably a guy that the Lakers did not expect would have this kind of game and should not have another game like this during the series. Jaren Jackson Jr., 18 points, 9 boards, and Desmond Bane had 17 points in this game as well. The Grizzlies, they came out to a very nice start. They came out this game without Ja Morant, and they really played for him. They played really hard on both ends. And defensively, they were great. They were clamping up the Lakers. There were multiple times where they got the Lakers deep into the shot clock and either forced up bad shots or eventually the shot clock went off and the Lakers had to turn the ball over. So great defense there from the Grizzlies in this game, as well as some great offense. The Lakers never really got going. D'Lo never got going. Anthony Davis was very bad in this game. Austin Reeves didn't have a great game. It was really just LeBron and Rui Hachimura. And defensively for the Lakers, once again, they struggled. They were not good in transition, and they were not a physical defensive team getting after these guys like Jaren Jackson Jr. and Xavier Tillman and Desmond Bane and Dylan Brooks. They did not get after them. They did not force mistakes and turnovers or bad shots or anything like that. So the Grizzlies really dominated this game without Ja Morant. We'll see if he can return on a Saturday night in LA for Game 3. If he doesn't play, it's not a guarantee that the Lakers win this game. I guess we've seen it now that just because Ja's out does not mean the Lakers are guaranteed to win. They actually have to go out there and play good defense and shoot the ball efficiently. Miami Heat, Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks go up 2-0 in this series, winning 138-122. Jimmy Butler, 25 points. Bam, 18. Gabe Vincent, 16 points, 4 for 9, 3-point shooting. Duncan Robinson finally got some minutes in meaningful basketball, 14 points, 4 for 6 from the 3-point range. For Milwaukee, 25 points comes of Brook Lopez. Drew Holiday with 24 and 4. Pat Connaughton, 22 points, 6 for 10, 3-point shooting off the bench. Joe Ingles, 5 for 6, 3-point shooting. He ended with 17 points. Chris Middleton had 16, 6 and 7. Bobby Portis had 15. And the Bucks were 25 for 49 from the 3-point range. In this game without Giannis, there was definitely a possibility that the Heat could have gone out there and win this game. And I think I said it earlier in the week that it was a possibility that if the Bucks are without Giannis, the Heat have a legit chance to win this series. But when you get the performances from Lopez, Connaughton, Ingles, Bobby Portis, you're going to end up winning that game, especially when Miami, outside of Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, doesn't have another guy that's out there defensively or offensively making enough shots. Gabe Vincent had a nice game. Robinson had a good game. But they're missing a Tyler Hero. They're missing Kyle Lowry impacting the game. Victor Oladipo had a decent game, but he's not a guy that's going to go out there and take over a playoff game. So Milwaukee ties the series. They don't go up 2-0. They tie it at 1 apiece. I forgot the Heat won game 1. I expect the Bucks to win in 5 or 6 games with Giannis being out. We'll see if he can play in game 3 this weekend. And then final game from yesterday, another blowout here. Not really a blowout. 122-113 in favor of the Nuggets. They go up 2-0 in this series. Anthony Edwards had a really great game, 41 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 6 for 10 from three-point range. Rudy Gobert had 19 and 8. Mike Conley had 14 points, 7 assists. Karl-Anthony Towns did nothing again in the playoffs. 10 points, 12 rebounds. Another call in the middle of a podcast. Oh my goodness. What is that, the 3rd time this week someone's called in the middle of one of our episodes? Got to figure out how to fix that. Karl-Anthony Towns did absolutely nothing once again in a postseason game. 10 points, 12 rebounds, shooting 2 for 5 from 3, 3 for 12 from the field, and probably playing horrible defense because Karl-Anthony Towns is not a good defender. I think Karl-Anthony Towns, honestly, is a pretty overrated player. Like, he's a decent regular season player, but when it comes to the postseason, he does not turn it up a notch. He does not seem to want to go out there and win these games. He does not seem to have that competitive drive in him. Honestly, if he was on a championship team, he's going to have to be the 3rd or 4th option. And on this team right here with the Timberwolves, he's their 2nd guy. Anthony Edwards is the 1, and they're relying on Cat to be the 2, and he's just not performing in these games. For the Nuggets, Jamal Murray, 40 points, 5 assists, 2 steals, 6 for 10 from the 3. Nikola Jokic had 27, 9 and 9. Michael Porter Jr. with 16, 6 points, 6 rebounds as well. So great game here for the Nuggets. They go up 2-0 in this series. I expect them to sweep. The Timberwolves have no life in them, and they have no players that are going to go out there and really take over a game besides Anthony Edwards. Like, Mike Conley's not going to have a game. Cat or Gobert are not going to put up big numbers. Like, this is a Nuggets in 4 kind of series. All right. One of the bigger stories of today, this one came out very late last night. The Oakland A's have bought land in Las Vegas. They've signed an agreement to purchase land, and they're going to relocate to Las Vegas very, very, very soon. So going over what exactly they did. 49 acres north of Allegiant Stadium. This is where the Raiders play in Las Vegas. And the team president, he said the following. They plan to build a $1.5 billion, 35,000-seat retractable roof stadium, and the goal is to have the move in the stadium completed by 2027. So the A's finally getting out of Oakland, and they're going to go to Las Vegas, which is a great place. I think this is a place, you've seen it over the last few seasons with the Las Vegas Golden Knights in the NHL, the Raiders moving from Oakland to Las Vegas, the WNBA success of the Las Vegas Aces. Las Vegas is becoming a sports city, and it's being a very successful sports city. And with it being one of the top tourist destinations in the United States, it's definitely going to generate revenue for any professional team that is there. Now, for the A's, there's a lot to go over here with the city, with the team. In Oakland, they've been there for 50 years. The A's have been in Oakland for 50 years. They've played at the Oakland Coliseum forever, and it is easily the worst stadium in Major League Baseball. And there's been multiple attempts throughout the years to build a new stadium in San Jose, in Oakland. There was recently a few years ago, a proposal for a waterfront ballpark that got denied. So the city has been denying ballpark proposals for the A's. The A's have tried and tried to build a new stadium in Oakland. They've tried to stay in Oakland, and it has been denied and denied and denied. And I mean, part of that has to do with how are you going to pay for a $1 billion stadium right? The team cannot pay for that themselves. So obviously, they're trying to get public funding, which is a pretty hard thing to do, especially in Oakland. A lot of it's just going to raise taxes, and they already pay lots of taxes there in Oakland. So they kept trying to get a stadium in Oakland, and it did not work out. So eventually they had to set their eyes on other destinations like Las Vegas, and I think that came out a year ago, that they were given permission by Major League Baseball to look at other possible locations for a stadium. And ultimately, Las Vegas is the choice. That was the front runner. That was the favorite. And now they are going to be in Las Vegas most likely by 2027. And you can also blame, all right, the A's are trying to also say that it's also because no one shows up to their games. They do not get any fans. And in terms of attendance, in 2019, they were 24th in attendance, 24,000 fans average per game. 2020, no fans, obviously. 2021 shouldn't really count because it was like limited capacity, 29th in MLB. But the last two seasons, 2022, they were last in Major League Baseball in attendance, and 2023, currently they are still last in attendance. But I don't think it's not because no fans want to go to the stadium. I mean, obviously the stadium sucks and no one likes to go there, but that is not the reason why no fans are showing up to these games. The reason is all has to do with the team. The Oakland A's are one of the worst run franchises in the Major League Baseball. All right, this is a $1 billion team. This is a team that does not spend any money to build a competitive ball club. Now, in 2019, they finished 86 and 76. In 2021, they were 86 and 76. That was third place. In 2020, they won the division. In 2019, they were a wild card team. So before 2021, they have been a relatively competitive team in the American League and in the AL West in particular, competing for division titles or making wild card appearances. But the A's have traded away the following guys with multiple years left on their contracts, with the possibility of extending those guys and the possibility of having a competitive team with foundational stars for multiple seasons. Matt Chapman had 2 years left on his deal when he was traded last year to the Blue Jays. Matt Olson had 3 years left when he was traded last year to the Braves. Sean Murphy had 3 years left when he was traded this offseason to the Braves. Sean Manaea, Chris Bassett, Starling Marte, Liam Hendricks, Marcus Semien, Mark Canha, Josh Donaldson was traded millions of years ago to the Blue Jays for absolutely nothing. So the A's have been notorious for trading guys who have 2-3 years left on their contracts when they're not paying them anything. These are all guys that are on arbitration. These are guys that are making $1, $2, $3, $5, $6, $7 million. They're not making $16, $20 million a season. These are guys that have not gotten their first big payday yet in Major League Baseball that they're trading away for absolutely no reason. And now the A's, they're the worst team in baseball. They have a 3-16 record currently in in Major League Baseball. It's last in the AL West. This team is just not looking to compete. And if you are a fan of the Oakland A's, why would you want to show up to, one, a stadium that sucks, and two, a team that is night in and night out going to lose? Like, you are going to a game knowing that they are going to lose the game. Now, when you go to another team, if you go to an Angels game, if you go to a Dodgers game, there's a chance that they lose, but there's also a chance that they win and it's a competitive game. When you go to a team like the A's and you go there as a fan and they're like 99% guaranteed to lose the game, that is not going to draw fans to the stadium. 2023 payroll for the Oakland A's, $60 million total, $36 million on big leaguers. The luxury tax threshold, the max a team can pay before they have to, the max a team can spend on their players before they have to pay penalties is $233 million. In 2022, the Oakland A's brought in $212 million in revenue and profited $29 million. That's 16th in the MLB. The A's spending $60 million total, $36 million on their MLB players right now. For example, Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon, Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, all of those guys make more this season alone than the A's spend on their major league players this season. Now, the A's, them having the lowest payroll in the game, they don't have to go out there and spend $200 million like the Phillies, like the Yankees, like the Padres, like the Mets, like the Dodgers. I think they at least have to be competitive enough like the Royals. The Royals are one of the worst teams in the game. They're spending $85 million on their major league players. Guardians, $85. The Marlins, $79 million. The Tigers, $113. The Rockies, $121. All of these teams, aren't the best teams. They're towards the bottom of the standings. They're at least putting together a ball club and some players that have some stars, some good players, some players that are going to impact winning and losing, compared to the Oakland A's, whose roster is really a Double-A team. They're fielding out there a Double-A team against a bunch of major leaguers with all other 29 ball clubs. So if the A's move to Vegas, which is going to happen, are they going to change the way they run their ball club? Are they going to start spending money on players? Are they going to start having a league average payroll, $160 million? Are they going to start spending $100 million on their payroll? Are they going to start fielding out a good major league team? And part of the problem with the A's has been the Moneyball movie, right? The Moneyball way of building a team. Since that has came out, and since they have started with that in the early 2000s of Moneyball, they think that they can't spend money on their players to build a roster that fits that style of team building. Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Rays, every other team in baseball uses, on-base percentage, OPS, all of these advanced metrics like the A's originally used in the early 2000s to build teams, and those teams have payrolls double, triple the Oakland A's. So I think them moving to Vegas, right, the stadium's going to be sick. They're going to draw in more fans. They're going to make more money. But it's going to also be on the team's part to field out a competitive roster, a team that's going to actually go out there and compete and try and win games. All right, Max Scherzer got ejected from his start on Wednesday for illegal substance. Now, he claims it was... Oh, damn, I just broke my pen. He claims it was rosin, which is the bag on the mound that pitchers are allowed to use by the MLB. That is the only legal substance you can use while pitching. He claims it was sweat and rosin, and when you mix those together, you get a nice, tacky substance that you can use to grip the baseball. He says he was ejected. One of the umpires from the game yesterday said this was the stickiest it had been since I've been inspecting hands for 3 seasons. That is the stickiest hand he's ever felt in the 3 years of umpires being required to check pitchers' hands and gloves and belts and hats after the completion of each inning. So in the MLB rulebook, with their updated foreign substance policy, it says you can use rosin and sweat, right? But you cannot mix it with sunscreen or other foreign objects to create a more stickier substance with the rosin. And if the rosin is too sticky, it can be deemed an illegal substance by the umpires. Scherzer is facing a potential 10-game suspension. And last week, there was the same exact incident with the Yankees and Domingo Germán. He was asked by one of the same umpires, Phil Cuzzi, who's doing the game where Scherzer got ejected, was doing this game with the Twins and the Yankees. Germán was asked to wash his hands after rosin, sticky substance on him. He came back out, still sticky, asked for a second time to wash his hands, and the Twins manager got ejected and argued that Germán should have been ejected because he was already warned. Scherzer was warned once in this game, and then a second time, still sticky, got ejected. This is an interesting thing, right? The sticky substance thing was really big back in 2021, right? Trevor Bauer, Garrett Cole, all those guys, Spider Tack, a lot of talk about illegal foreign substances. And one of the first podcasts on this channel was all about that. And go check it out. I think it's literally the first episode ever on this channel about foreign substance. I think like MLB needs some sort of sticky substance officials at every single game to go out there and inspect. I think these umpires, it's the same thing with umpires calling balls and strikes. It's going to differ umpire to umpire on what is sticky, what is legal, what is illegal. They need 15 uniform officials that have the exact same understanding of what is and is not legal to use as a foreign substance for pitchers, because you can't have one guy getting warned twice and not being ejected for sweat and rosin, and then you can't have another guy getting warned once and then getting ejected for sweat and rosin. If rosin is legal, sweat and rosin is a legal substance. But if you're using sunscreen, which is a legal substance, then I guess it's different. But MLB needs to figure this out, right? It's been 3 years since we've been going over this sticky substance situation in Major League Baseball, and it hasn't been talked about for the last year and a half. But if it's going to start coming back up again soon, they need to go out there and get some officials and get some uniform understanding of what is legal and what is illegal for pitchers to use substance-wise. All right, finally on today's episode, Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to return tonight after his 80-game suspension for PEDs. Tatis, in his rehab starts this season, has been absolutely incredible. 515 average, 7 homers, 15 RBIs, 1.8 OPS, 3 Ks, 590 on base, 112 slugging, or 1.212 slugging. A lot of people are wanting to hate and wanting to hate on Fernando Tatis Jr. for the PED suspension. I hate Alex Rodriguez. Any player that has ever used steroids, I think, is a disgrace to the game, right? But Fernando Tatis Jr. was injured last season when he got suspended for PEDs. So I don't think he's ever played with steroids while using steroids. So I know he got suspended for PEDs. I just don't think it applies to him, because you can say in 2021 and 2020 he never got busted for PEDs. Maybe he was using them, maybe he was not. But when he did get caught using steroids, he was injured. He was not actively playing. So I think it's completely different than if he was currently playing and then he got busted for steroids, because then you would say everything he did was cheating. So he's going to come back tonight. He's going to really impact this Padres team that is 9-11 on the season, really struggling offensively. Juan Soto's playing very bad this season. And then pitching-wise as well for the Padres, they're bad. But Tatis coming back really lengthen and strengthens their lineup. I mean, Tatis, Machado, Soto, Xander Bogaerts, Jake Cronenworth, Ha-Seong Kim. This lineup gets lengthened, and it's one of the best in baseball with Fernando Tatis back. I think he's going to be picking up right where he left off in terms of minor league, and in 2021, how good he was at the plate. And wherever he plays, whether it's right field, left field, center, shortstop, he's going to be an impactful player, and I still think he's one of the best players in the game, regardless of his suspension. Oh, and then real quick, the Arizona Diamondbacks designated for assignment Madison Bumgarner. This is a guy they signed to a 5-year deal a few seasons ago. He has $34 million left on his deal. He got DFA'd. Over his 69 starts, 5.23 ERA with the Diamondbacks. And then on Wednesday, 7 hits in 3 innings pitched, allowed 7 runs on 4 walks. This season, 2023, 10.26 ERA, a 2.40 whip. Opponents have a 12.5 barrel percentage on Madison Bumgarner. Opponents are batting .328. That's bottom 5% in the league. He has a 16.7 walk percentage. His xERA is at 8.47, and he has a 43.8 hard hit rate. If If you look at his baseball savant and his percentile rankings, everything is bottom 10% for Madison Bumgarner. He's not been the same pitcher since he's gone to the Arizona Diamondbacks. His best years, were with the San Francisco Giants, and he's only 33 years old. He's got a lot of money left on his deal. I doubt any team is going to pick him up off of waivers because they're going to have to pick up the $34 million left on his deal. He'll definitely pass through waivers, probably elect free agency, and we'll see if another team, gives him a chance to pitch again. But he's been absolutely horrible during his time with Arizona, and then in 2023 this season, he's easily been the worst pitcher in the game. So that's going to do it for this episode. Short episode here today. 25 minutes. There might be an episode tomorrow. Might not be. If not, we'll be back on Monday with NFL mock draft number 6. Whatever else happens this weekend. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. See you guys later.